Hi, and welcome to Fabric Bites. It is November 2025, and I haven't had a chance to sew in a while. My work has been keeping me super busy, so sorry for not posting any videos and for this being a handheld film. But I thought I would really quickly, I was cleaning because my house is a mess because I have been working a lot, and my daughter got these bags she bought some shoes, and they actually gave her these bags. And I was going to donate them, and then I started thinking about it, and I thought, I actually need some more shopping bags, and I do like the nylon for the shopping bags. So I think I'm going to try to convert these to make them into shopping bags. And so I'm just going to be cutting off these, hoping to cut these off and see if it works. And I'm going to box the corners a little bit, and then see how it goes. And then, of course, I have to sew the straps back on up here somehow. All right, I'm going to get started. I'm going to whip this one out and see if it works, and then I'll show you kind of what I did on this one as I go through. All right, back in a flash. Okay, so I haven't sewn anything yet. I did want to show you how I'm deconstructing this bag. So here I've decided I'm going to go ahead and leave these tabs on because maybe I'll hook keys to it or something, and I don't think it'll get snagged on anything, so I think I'm just going to leave them. So from here, what I'm going to do is they've stitched it right here. And it's that piece is stitched around here and looped. So I'm actually going to cut it here just to get it off the bag. And then I do want to recover this piece of hardware right here. Even though I'm not keeping this piece of hardware, I'm going to go ahead and keep this piece just in case I need it for something else. So I'll be keeping those 2 or 4 when I'm done here. So I'm just going to cut that off. And I don't need this bit of webbing. The other thing I think I'm going to do is once I get this down to the size that I need it, I'm going to go ahead and this is webbing, so it's plastic essentially. I'm not really sure what it's made out of, but light it up, it melts. It doesn't burn, it melts. So I'm going to go ahead and melt the ends of these to keep it from fraying when I get to that stage. And what I did notice about up here is they've also stitched it right here. So, but it's looped. It looks like, you can see here, each piece is separate. So this is a set one side, and this is the other side. So I'll have some recoverable material. Sorry, losing my voice. Some recoverable material, but I'm going to have this. I'm not going to pick out this stitching. It's not worth it to me. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. On, let's see. Yeah, because what I'm going to recover is this piece right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut it on either side. This is the side that it's actually stitched on. Here, folded over and stitched. So let me see. Yeah, and see that's melted. I can feel it. It's hard. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and pull this out. And see, I could leave that and have a strap that's this, nice and long here, but I really don't need it that long. Anyway, I'm not going to cut it until I'm ready to use it. And then I can decide from there. But that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to do this side as well. This is the side that it was stitched on here. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. And pull that out. Okay. Then I can start actually boxing my corners. Now leaving this is going to restrict how much I can box, because that's going to end up at the very bottom. So, but I don't really need a huge box at the bottom. Oh, my goodness. And of course, I'll turn it inside out before I do this, but I don't need a huge box at the bottom, so I'm okay with that. If I wanted to do it more, I could maybe go up to here and box and just kind of cut that off. But I'm not going to do, oh, sorry, you can't even see it on camera, sorry. I could come up to here and box. Yeah, I could come up to here and box, but and just cut that off, but I'm not going to do that on this one. On this one, I'm going to go underneath this and box it below here, and then if I don't like it, I'll switch that on this one, or I'll resew this one. I'll just cut it off and restitch this one. I'm going to start with a little bit because I really don't need the boxing at the bottom. I mean, the bags it's fabric. If I stick a milk jug in here, the fabric's going to expand regardless of whether or not it's boxed. But the boxing just, I think, makes it easier to have the bag sit there and open. Oh, my cat's playing with my strap now. All right, I don't even know if I'm making sense. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to start stitching and go forward with that. I did want to mention, I do know I don't use nylon very much. I mean, I'm just even assuming this is nylon. It feels like nylon to me. But I do know you're supposed to use a smaller needle, and I actually have these sitting out right next to my machine. So I'm going to switch. I think I'm going to go with the 80-12. I don't think I'm going to go any smaller than that. I am going to leave, I have white thread on my machine. I'm going to go ahead and sew with white because this is not a fancy project here that I need to worry about my thread color. Oh, here she comes on my dining room table. Okay, I got to get my cat off my dining room table. Hold on. Come on, stop. Okay, let me just finish what I'm saying and I'll grab her. She's out of reach. Anyway, I am going to switch because you don't want to poke big holes in this, apparently. I remember watching some YouTube videos the last time I sewed with nylon, and I know you want to switch to needles. I usually don't. I pretty much sew with the 90-14 every time, but since it's sitting right next to my machine, I kind of feel like I should do that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my needle, but I'm going to stay with my white thread and get stitching. All right, let me flip that over. There, back in a flash. Okay, so I have one corner done. Looks a little wrinkly because of the way I've clipped it, but let me show you what I did. So the first thing you have to do is line up your side seam with your bottom, the very center of your bottom, which there's a nice crease in this one, so it works out really nicely. And then what I'm doing is, because I'm leaving these little plastic pieces in here, I'm just trying to feel where that is, and I'm trying to clip above it for now because I'm going to have to draw a line below. So I'm lining that up nicely, and then I'm just clipping someplace, making sure I have it lined up way up here, like that. And then I'm just, on the other one, this side, it was 1.5 inches from the point. Sorry about shaking, I bumped my camera stand. And so from here, I'm going to be looking at about 1.5 inches, so I can see this clip is in the way. I'm going to go a little higher here. And I'm going to measure 1.5 inches up, and I'm going to mark my line. And I can feel, there's my, right there is where my sewing stitch starts. This part right here. So that up 1.5 inches from my point. So I want to line everything up on the line, so I know I'm going straight. And I'm going to go 1.5 inches on my ruler here, where everything is straight here. And this, I know my stuff here is straight as best as I can tell. Straight, good to go. And then I'll mark right here with my chalk. And get below that line, so I know where to mark. Oh, I didn't do a good job marking, so I'll fix that in a minute, because that does not look even to me. So I'm going to go back and look at that. But the next step on this one is I have this plastic loop that I opted to stay attached to the bag. Well, I don't want to sew over that. So what I did here was I just kind of felt it and got it kind of straight on there. And then I'm going to, because you could just put a pin in here, but I also don't want to poke extra holes in this nylon. So I'm just going to work it until I can feel it. It's kind of straight up in there. I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to clip it into place from here, from the top. Now I can still tell that this is going to be in my way sewing, so I'm going to play with that in a minute to get it out of the way like I did on this one. So I know that that clip is way out of the way on this one, which is why it looks kind of wrinkly, but that's okay. When I'm sewing, I can kind of pull tight and make sure that it's going to get a nice straight stitch, and I'm not worried about it. I'm more worried about sewing over a piece of plastic and breaking my needle on that side. So I'm going to play with this side and get it nicely lined up and even like the other side, and then I'll stitch across it, and I'll be back. Okay, ta-da! So it's a little wonky looking because I decided I was going to try to film it. And yeah, hold my phone, backstitch. Anyway, it didn't work. The film didn't even come out very good, and yeah, so my stitching got a little bit impacted by it. But it is straight across. It will work. I mean, the stitching is fine here, and at least the mistake is to the inside where, you know, I don't need this piece. I am not going to cut these pieces off here. I'm going to leave them because why? They're not going to get in the way, and I feel like I would have to do some more finishing if I did that, and I just think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. So now I'm going to start working up here, and the cool part about this is, look, these flaps here, I think I can just fold them over and put the straps underneath and stitch all the way around it and be done. I just have to decide if I want to change out of the white thread or not, which I probably won't. Okay, let me look at that. I'll be back. Okay, so I have my straps. I cut off the little bitty part where the seam was between the two, where the stitching was, and I ended up with these little extra small little pieces, which I'll keep for another project because it'll be a nice strap. And then I have the long pieces, which I'm going to actually make a strap out of. Instead of using it, I don't like the way it feels. It's 3/4 of an inch. I want more of an inch, and it's just rough, and I don't like the way that feels. So what I opted to do is go ahead and make a casing for it, and that's just how you make a normal belt or strap. You just fold it in half, press it, and then open it up and fold the insides into that fold line there. And then, so what I've done is just in the middle here, not the whole length, but just in the center, I put a little piece of batting because that's where my hand is going to be most of the time. And it's just a bit rough. I don't like the way this is, so I was just fixing it. It's just an option. It would work just fine without it, but it's not having to slide through anything anymore, so I don't need that slickness of that. And even if I did, I would still do this because I prefer it. But I'm putting in, I put down my little center piece of batting. I'm putting down the webbing here that I cut out of the bag, and I am going to stitch, get it all folded in there nicely, and stitch down both sides on each one of them. And now that I've been playing with this, I'm going to have to go probably play with pressing it a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to go stitch these, and this is going to be my strap instead of just using that piece of webbing. I don't like it. So, and this is okay. And all I did, honestly, all I did was I walked over to my tub of scraps, and this piece was sitting on top. And I was like, okay, that'll work. And it was almost 4 inches wide. It was like 5-ish, not even 5-ish. I mean, I had very little waist on it, but it wasn't long enough to do both straps. So I had another piece in my bag of blue scraps that was also, that one was actually exactly 4 inches wide. So I just stitched them together. I didn't have enough of these though to do both sets of straps. So the other bag, I just went, and I don't have enough of the right length in my blue scraps here. I would have to piece a lot, and I don't want to do that. So I just had this fabric laying around. I went and cut 2 pieces off of it and then stitched them together and pressed them, and I will make my next strap out of that for the other bag. So they'll be different from each other, but the same on each bag. Also, when I cut the webbing back down, I went ahead and melted my ends. Couldn't think of what I was trying to say, burnt, but melted the ends right there as well. So I'm going to go get this stitching done, and I've already clipped the one bag. Come out a little bit. I've already clipped the one bag down, and all I did was the stitching is right, you can't see it because it's blue on blue, but the stitching is right here. I just clipped it down, and that's where the natural fold is on it, and I'm going to go ahead and line my straps in here and stitch them underneath so that the ends will be finished underneath, or not finished, but I'm having trouble thinking today. They'll be tucked underneath so you won't see the raw edges. Okay, let me go sew. Clearly my mind isn't working, so hopefully the sewing will be okay. I still have white thread on my machine. I really am debating. I think I'm going to go with blue when I go to finally do this part of it, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this with white and keep it on. Actually, no, I'm not. I have to change my needle out because I'm going to have to stitch this with a 90-14, the 90-14 needle instead of the 80 whatever it is, 80-12, I don't remember what it is, and I don't know where I put my pack. But I'm going to go stitch that and change my needle first once I can figure out what I do with it. I would go sew on my daughter's machine because that's actually what I did here with these, is I used my daughter's machine, but she has black on her machine and I'm not sure what she's doing, so I don't want to change her thread out. Okay, back in a flash. Okay, quick side note. I dropped my pack of needles like this on the ground, and the 3 middle needles spilled out. Now one of them I knew was from my machine. I had just used this to store it. Next time I'll go close it. But I was like, how am I going to get those in? Oh, and the other point of this is these are knit and stretch needles. I have no idea if that's the right needle to use for nylon. I'm just doing it. because I just don't sew enough with that. So, but I did, if you look really closely on the needles, you can see it actually tells you on the needles, at least for the Schmitz, it tells you on the needles itself, right there. It may not come all the way into focus, but there you go. That's the 1280 in the middle there. This one, I'm super zoomed in, so my finger looks huge. But each of these actually says on the needle somewhere which needle it is, which was really handy since I spilt the middle 3. So anyway, just thought I'd let you know. That's available. That's the information that's on there. If you ever do the same on that, usually I buy packs that are all 9014 or all one, but I don't sew a lot with stretch fabric or jersey fabric, and I bought this for a special project, so they're all kind of mixed sizes. And so, okay, I'm gonna get to sewing my straps and I'll be back. All right, I got my 2 straps sewn, and then before I change the needle out on my machine, I want to go ahead and sew the other 2 straps because I need these to be, I want to do these in the 9014. I'm more comfortable with that on my machine with cotton and all of these layers than going with the 8012. And so, I don't know, that's just me personally. I don't honestly know what's the better choice. But so I've already got these prepped. I cut off the strap from the other bag and I melted the ends, which always creeps me out because I feel like that's a major burn waiting to happen if you're not careful. But I did get that all done. Not really a big deal, but still. And I am safe. I practice safe practices. So, but now I'm going to go ahead and sew this one. I'm going to change the thread. I'm going to go ahead and go with the darker blue to sew the rest of the way through. And so I'm going to change the thread on my machine, sew these, and then change the needle on my machine to sew the nylon. And hopefully it'll be okay going over all of these levels when it comes time to sew the strap on. So, all right, here we go. Back in a flash. Okay, 1 down, 1 to go. And that one should go really fast because I already have the straps done and I won't be talking through it. I'm just going to sew it. So easy on this one. Again, it was inside out when I did it. All I did was sew all the way around the bottom, back stitching over where the straps were here, and then I rolled the straps up and out like this, and then sewing again from the inside with these clipped in place. I sewed all the way around and back stitched over each strap except this one because I kept hitting the wrong button on the machine, and I'm like, and my foot was still on the pedal, so I sailed right past it, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go back and fix that. I could do that right now, but I also took the clip off too early. You can see it's kind of crooked. But I don't want to pick it out because it's just for me and I don't know if I'm going to damage this. So I'm going to leave it because no one will notice but me and now you. And so I'm okay with that. So, all right, I'm going to go whip out the other one and I'll be right back. All right, one other quick thing. So I have, obviously I have that in the wrong spot because you can see it. But when you put your straps on, I measured over, I decided I wanted to go 4 inches over from the edge and then line it up at the outside edge of the strap with the 4-inch mark. If you want to see, because my bags are, it's not quite exactly 18-inch, which this mat is. If I want to see if my straps are pretty much evenly lined up on the edge, you just have to match your seams and fold it over and then check it out like that. So I can see, yep, I'm pretty good on that. So I can line it up and look there and see that I'm lined up. So just a quick tip. Okay, clipping the other one in place and I'll be right back. Oh no, clipping it in place, sewing it, and I'll be right back. Ta-da, here they are, they're done. So here's the first one, boxed on the bottom. So I converted these were a backpack where you cinched the strap over and they went over and used these. This was the size of the strap. I converted it into a shopping bag so that I could use them because I don't need the backpacks. I wanted a shopping bag. So the first one, again, here it is on the inside, box corners, and then here is the second one. So on this one, what I decided to do is first focus on this upper portion because I only had a little bit of thread left in the navy. I had 2 bobbins. One was the right size for this machine, one was the wrong size for this machine. So I was looking like I could probably get close to being done, but my actual spool, I didn't have a whole lot left in on that. So I did manage to get, I sewed the bottom first, and again, I went all the way around from the inside, all the way around back tacking over this on each time on the straps. And then I got through just one side and I ran out of bobbin thread. So I reloaded that bobbin with the bobbin that was the wrong size for my machine. And then I did the rest of the way around. And literally I got across because I was back tacking right here and here as well. And I had just finished back tacking here and I ran out of thread. And so then I was able to start and go here. Now I did make a mistake here, which I'm not going to fix because this is for me. I wasn't paying attention to this, and because I was sewing on the inside, I didn't see that it was folded over. And normally this would drive me nuts, and it will drive me nuts because I think I should, you don't want to be sloppy in your sewing because that's a habit you don't want to get into. But because I don't work with nylon that much and I don't want to unpick it, and I don't want to worry about ruining this, and this doesn't matter to me, although it will bug me because it's of the way it's sewn. I'm not going to unpick it because I don't want to end up accidentally ruining this and not having it, making it worse. So I did make that mistake. I did get all the way around, and then what I did was I had plenty of, oh, here's my clock. I had plenty of thread in the bobbin still, and since I was sewing from this side, I went ahead and changed my spool to white again, and I sewed the top with the blue on the bobbin and the white on there. And I think that's just fine because it matches the pattern of the bag already here, and it's on the inside and not on the outside. So I was able to do that. And again, all I did was, once I had the bottom stitched, I flipped the straps up, and then I went from the inside and sewed around, back stitching here as well. So I don't feel like I need to do the cross hatching on any of these because I think that's plenty for these. I guess I'll find out. So there it is. There they are. Let me see. Hold on. Here's the one. Get that in place. Here is the other one, the first one. Ta! All right. There they are. I hope you like them. I hope that wherever and whenever you're at, you're having a great time. And thanks for watching.